Okay, welcome to the Monday Home Video Studio Vid Conference, and we're glad you're here. It's the 17th of June, and today, today we've got Chad Godfrey with us. Hello, Chad, superstar, Emmy-nominated studio owner, um, multi Hanley Award winner. Hello there. Thanks for being here, Chad, today. Today we're going to
Sure.
discuss, well, thank you. We're going to discuss the Getaway 24 and Backlot and Chad's classes, and we'll mix some other stuff in here. I'll probably mention Frank Romer's name, what he's doing, and the tuxes. Chad, don't let me forget the tux rental
Okay.
because it'll be nip and tux here. Okay, so welcome studio owners and welcome Chad Godfrey. So Chad, you want to kind of give us a little intro on how darn excited you are to be coming back to Getaway 24 and what we're doing with Backlot, what we're doing with your classes, because I'm really excited about the mix of classes. And so why don't we kick it off with say whatever you want to say, give us some background or anything. And, we've talked quite a bit about this. And then we'll talk about Wednesday's schedule and we'll just take it through. We'll just have a conversation. So take it away.
Well, first of all, Clearwater, Florida is amazing. So I'm looking around the room here on Zoom, and I know there are a few owners here that are new that haven't been to Clearwater, that maybe have been to Tucson or some of the other getaways. But Clearwater is so fun. It's just a real vacation destination. So many cool things to do. I'm sure many of you have signed up for the catamaran that's happening Friday night. So it's going to be a really fun time to just hang out, go to all the classes, bond in the evenings. We go out to eat, we do all that sort of stuff. We do a lot of things together. So we truly are a family, and that's really what's the fun part is obviously just getting together no matter where we're at. But Clearwater is just such a cool place to be. So I'm excited to be back there. It's a pretty fun hotel, actually, too. Lots of amenities and very picturesque, lots of cool places to take photos for Hanley Awards and, when everyone's dressed up. So there'll be some good opportunities for you to have profile pictures and things that you can use for your social media and all that fun stuff, just because the location is just super cool. So I'm excited to be there just for that alone. But I think the classes this year are really going to be fun. At least they are going to be for me. And the main one really is going to be Backlot. So Backlot is one that Robert's coined for many years now, which is really kind of everyone has an assignment to make a video of some sort, and they're typically thematic. You got to do this or that, and we create like kind of some rules and some things that you have to adhere to or have some sense of conformity. And so this year we're going to do that again. And I think one of the fun things about it is that it's actually going to be something that you can use in your studio, use on your social media, use for your BNI or any other time that you're needing to tell people about what you do. And so the theme on the Backlot will be creating promos for your studios. And we've got a couple of rules for this because in the past, some of you have worked together. Like John Failing, for example, you worked with, I forget, I'm losing his name, in Indianapolis. And they won several years ago creating a video. And many of you have done collaborations with other studios. This time it's going to be a little awkward for you to do a collaboration with another person. One, because we want you to do all the work. Because typically, when we split up, somebody does the shooting, somebody does the editing, or somebody makes all the decisions, and the other person is just like, yep, that sounds good. I'll be at the pool. Let me know when you're done. And I really want everyone that's involved in this to do all of the work. So the shooting, the setting up the lighting, doing doing the voiceover work, conducting the interviews, basically producer, director, editor, the whole 9 yards. So we're going to be creating some promos for our studios this year. And I hope that this class will attract not only brand new studios, but veteran studios as well. Those of you that haven't done a promo for your studio in a while, or you just feel like you need an update, or you just want to come along for the ride because you feel like there's going to be a lot of things that you'll learn that'll be new. Some might be repetitive, and some will just be new techniques and new ways of looking at production. So here are a couple of the quick rules that I'm just gonna throw these out there, and we'll talk about these again. But the first one is you're gonna do these on your own. No, we're not gonna have teams. We're all competing. I'm not competing, I'm teaching the class, but anyone that's involved in the class as a student will be competing with other studios for because you're gonna get an opportunity to win a Hanley. Is that right? On Saturday night. Isn't that right?
That's right. And everybody can compete. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, great. So you'll do this individually. And then we're going to make it kind of a specific style, kind of a narrative sort of form or documentary form. So you would create your own voiceover. It doesn't mean you have to record your own voiceover. If you're like me, I hate my voice. And I'm not a big fan of, I've done many, many voiceovers over the years. And I'm always like, there's so many better choices than my tinny little voice. But that doesn't mean you have to record your voice. Now, if you have a Cheryl voice, which is a fantastic voiceover voice, maybe you want Cheryl to do your voiceover for you, or Craig Peterson, if he's going to be there. Craig has a great radio voice as well. So we can use those resources to do the voiceover reading part, but you would be involved in one, writing it, and two, like handling all the recording side of it. And there's believe it or not, a real art form to doing good voiceovers, and we'll bring equipment to for you to use nice microphones and recorders and all that sort of stuff, that you'll have that. And then the last part of that would be requirement would be that everyone has a testimonial. Now, this one's going to be a little bit more difficult to do because we don't have customers that are going to be there. However, I really do feel like we each are our own customers, because we each should be going on our Facebook pages and endorsing other home video studios. Even as as an individual. I did this last week at Debbie Williams' studio and just wrote a short little endorsement. Hey, Debbie's the best in the business at what she does. I highly recommend, you guys, anyone considering doing this or this, go to Debbie for this business. I did one for Keith recently too. Not that they asked me to do it. It's just, I think that's good business for you guys to have those level of endorsements. So we'll do some testimonials for your business, and we'll record those like an interview style. So that'll be a part of the requirement as well in your promo, is that we'll kind of cut into maybe one or two testimonials where another owner acting as a customer can vouch for your business and the services that you provide. So all those requirements are critical to being a part of what I would consider a really nice documentary style, narrative style video that promotes your business. And really, in the end, if you put this on social media, if you're able to get these on your websites, it's just going to increase the number of hits, the number of engagements on your business webpage and your social media. So in the end, it's going to be a win-win. You'll be able to learn how to make a video at this level, and two, you're going to reap the benefits of that video. So those are basically the requirements of that. I can kind of go through the schedule real quick. And that is basically Wednesday. We start 8 a.m. on Wednesday, the 24th. And the morning of is going to be kind of a crash course in camera techniques, and lighting techniques, and audio, how to mic a person, what things you should be thinking about in terms of audio when you're filming, with the camera. And this can be an iPhone that you use if some of you have a nicer video camera or DSLR or mirrorless camera, whatever it might be, and you want to bring that. fantastic, because that's a great time for you to learn, some of the specifics about that camera in order to, really optimize what that camera can do for you. And really, it doesn't, I mean, a few years ago, I would say, no, don't bring your iPhone, don't bring your Android. And yet now we all know they're all pretty amazing. And you would be hard pressed if it was shot right to tell the difference. So if that's all you have, and the best camera is always the one you have with you, then by all means we'll use your iPhone or your Android, and we'll use that as your main camera. But yeah, so that morning, that first half of the day will be basically covering techniques of all the production techniques, from using your camera, whatever specific camera you have. If you're Wendell, you're probably going to bring like 10 Blackmagic cameras with you that day, that week. I don't know. So we'll just, it just depends on whatever device you have. Great, bring it and let's use it, and let's get it in the best conditions possible so that you've got a really good output. And then in the afternoon, we're actually going to go out. We're going to do kind of a photo video walk, go out, maybe hit a few little touristy spots, shoot some B-roll, and, teach you different techniques for getting, a variety of different shots, and how to plan for shooting in the sun, because it's not going to be the most ideal time of day, in terms of outdoor light. If we're going at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm still imagining that sun's going to be like right over our heads. So it's going to create some shadows that we have to, kind of plan for. So, but we'll all be outside, shooting some stuff, and, just experimenting, getting comfortable with the equipment that you have. And that'll be that day. So it'll be kind of tutorials in the morning, practicum in the afternoon. The second day will literally, I'm trying to go back to my notes, Robert. I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem. Hey, while you're doing that, let me just mention that that's the first day. And then that night we have the big cocktail party, tons of food. If you've never been to the cocktail party we do on Wednesday night, I always like to have just a ton of food and good drink. A good time. Plus, we'll have the Peter Kern show there. Peter Kern and his singer. I'm trying to think of her name, but we had them 3 years ago, and they're really, really good. So
they were great.
Yeah, so that the Peter Kern.
And the nominees for the Hanleys will be that night as well.
The nominees for the Hanleys, and so you can compete in Backlot. You can do it, the whole 4 days. And well, I think, Chad, you want people to be done by Friday afternoon, or if possible, or at least by Saturday, of course.
Really close to being done.
But everybody can compete in this. You can take other classes, because I'm going to talk about some of the other classes coming up as well. But you can multitask, and we want to see as many studios competing in Backlot this year as possible. Chad, we did have a question come in on if you're a studio with 2 people, can you both be on a team? And I think
you absolutely can. Yeah, I actually thought of you and Tina specifically, Keith. And that's however you guys want to handle it. I mean, if you want to be a team and do this together, great. If you guys want to divide and conquer, and one of you do this class and another one do, the other series of classes, great. It's up to you. So, but you guys would be the exception. If you're a couple, if it's Tony and Lori Melendez, that would be fantastic, by the way, if they competed in this. That would be really fun.
That would be awesome. We hope they do. By the way, it's the Peter Kern show featuring Harriet Sicaro. That is her name. Probably didn't pronounce it right. But okay, so what do we got going on for the next day, Thursday?
Yeah, so Thursday is really kind of down the same vein with Backlot, but it's going to be more of your own time. Here, we're gonna, you're gonna be working on your videos, but some of that may be, you may have not really had a lot of time to work on your videos because you're learning the first day and experimenting and getting comfortable with the equipment, etc. So Thursday will be planning, scripting, shooting, editing, all the specific things. And Robert, we haven't talked about this, but I assume we'll do this again. We'll probably create some kind of online folder for you that will have some assets, pictures of, for example, a stack of VHS tapes, or lots of slides, or, stock photos, and maybe even some video clips. I might even try to shoot some B-roll for you. Side note, we are actually creating a whole video series about our services here. And the first one we're going to do is all about video transfer. And it really comes out of, I want more engagement. I want people to, the more stuff, more content that we have online, the more, people are going to be engaged with it. So that's one of the reasons why we are doing that, is shooting a bunch of those. So hopefully I'll have many of those actually completed. I have 4 that I want to complete this summer.
Wow.
So I may have some B-roll and some things that I would be willing to let you guys use as well for these promos. So
And
anyway,
they can shoot B-roll before they come, right? If they want to,
yes,
like
of course.
in their
So
studio.
yeah, if you have pictures or videos of your studio, you can absolutely come prepared, having shot some of your own stuff. What your studio looks like, the front of the building, or whatever. For some of you, I know it's just going to be your house, right? So shots of your studio. Absolutely, you can come prepared and do that. That would be great.
And here's one other thing I want to just really point out, and you and I did talk about this. The theme this year is imagine imagining. So we're talking about using your imagination and being creative. And so you could just take this really literally, a promo about my studio, but then you can get as creative as you want, really get out of the box thinking. And we're in Florida. So how do you shoot a promo video for your studio when your studio's in Washington State or in Ohio and you're in Florida? Well, that's where you want to just really think creatively, and try something really bold, be different. So you get something really cool. And how do we define that? We don't know. That's for you to define. And you may not
However,
know it till you get into it. Yes, go ahead.
right. And that's true. However, we have one other caveat, and that I didn't mention in the set of rules. And that is that before it's finished, like when it's, you reach a point where you're like, hey, I'm feeling pretty good about this draft that I have, I want to see it. Robert, I think, even said he would be interested in being a part of that too. So part of being a good producer, editor, is getting feedback from others, people that are, that do this, right? And I want to kind of see where you're at with it, when you reach a certain point, because, I'm not, this is not to say I'm going to turn it upside down by any means, but I want to be able to, offer some suggestions or give you some feedback. And a lot of that's going to be really positive feedback, but maybe some constructive criticism about, okay, well, why did you do this shot here? What if you switch this shot with this shot and resequence these 2 things? Then the continuity would be better, whatever it might be. But being vulnerable, or at least open to feedback and constructive criticism, is really going to make you a better producer. So that's the other caveat. As I at the end, we've kind of scheduled some time on Friday, like towards the very end of the day, so that you'll have time until the last hour of the day, Friday, of class, that we can sit down with you, spend 10 minutes or 15 minutes and watch your video. And your video can be 1 minute long, it could be 5 minutes long. There really are no time constraints
Well,
for it.
we may give a time constraint though. You don't think we might give an upper level, like 3 or 5 minutes, or
5 minutes is probably, probably
okay.
the limit of what you'd want to do. And ideally, for online consumption, you'd want to do 2 or 3 minutes. So
Yeah.
because it's still, the attention span is still will start to fall off as
Yep.
things get too long. But yeah, but so yeah, we do want to, the sky's the limit in terms of your creativity and how you want to present your studio. But we also want to make sure that this video is successful for you, so that you're in turn successful because of it. So we want to be able to see that. So yeah, the nice thing about it is it's a little bit open-ended. Like Thursday and Friday, you'll be working on these, but if you decide you want to go to a class with Frank on one of those days, or sit in on something that Chris is doing, Chris McGee, or something that Larry, is Larry just going to be there Saturday? Okay.
Larry
So,
is, yeah, I'll talk about Larry in a minute, but yeah,
yeah,
he'll be
that's
there on
fine.
Saturday.
But yeah,
Yes.
the point is, you'll have some freedom to not just, put the blinders on and work on this, but be able to, go hang out in some other classes and get some other ideas. So that leads me to Friday, which is I'm going to do two different sessions, an AM session and a PM session, on different subjects. The first in the morning is all going to be advanced Premiere Pro, from an owner's perspective. Some of you I know use Final Cut Pro, or you might use DaVinci Resolve, and that's cool. This is going to be mostly, not mostly, it's going to be all Premiere Pro, and some advanced techniques with that. Multicam editing, for example, audio, finishing a mix, so that when your video is done and you feel really good about your video, well, what about the audio? How is the audio? Is the mix of music and dialogue at a place where everything sounds really good? So we'll talk very specifically about audio and how it's so important in Premiere and finishing. We can finish a video here for a client and spend several hours just making an audio mix that really makes the video look better. To be honest, I mean, we don't do anything to the video at that point where we're just working on the audio, but a good audio mix will actually make your video perceivably look better. So it's a really important thing. So that'll be in the morning. In the afternoon, it's going to be all advanced techniques with Photoshop, Lightroom, and Topaz, like photo AI, and then all the derivatives of their specific things like sharpening and denoising and gigapixel, all those techniques. So that'll be a little bit of photo restoration, some advanced techniques that maybe you haven't used that'll make you a better Photoshop user. And then, is it Friday night? No, I'm sorry, it's Thursday night. You asked me to do the resilience class, right? So that'll be in the evening.
Yeah, that's going to be
session.
That'll be a general session at the end of the day, probably an hour, I think. We're talking.
Yeah. So just real quick, the general session on Thursday, Robert asked me to do, I'm calling it resilience. And it's essentially like becoming a home video studio that survives and thrives, for the long haul. As I look around this room of Zoom users here, that you guys are all here, I don't want to be morbid about what I'm going to say, but when I look here at this room, I would venture to say one of you will not be here next year. That I'm not saying that because you're not going to be here because you have a conflict. It's that you're out of business. And I don't want that to happen for any of you. No one wants to just go out of business. And so this class is specific to our business on things, techniques that you can do for the long haul. So you're not in this business for 2 years or 5 years. You're in this business. It'll be 20 years in November for me. And of course, Robert's been in this business longer than that. Tony Melendez has been in this business a little bit longer. Tony and Lori Melendez have been in this business a little bit longer than 20 years. But there are some specific things that you can do that will keep you going. That class is specific about just staying in the business, things that you can do to do that. Okay. And hopefully there'll be some things that maybe you're already doing, but maybe not. So it'll just be like an hour-long session. And I'm going to, kind of make a list of lots of different things that I feel like a good studio owner that's one, making money, and two, just literally just living the lifestyle that, we all purport to have, or at least Home Video Studio, doesn't promise, but says, hey, if you do these things, you can live this life. And so that's what we're going to focus on.
Awesome.
So let me jump into Saturday real quick. We're going to have a renewal of a class that I many years ago called One Hit Wonders. So One Hit Wonders is basic. Oh, Miguel's like clapping. So One Hit Wonders are basically like little apps, like cheap apps that might be $20, $25. Some might be a little bit more expensive. Some are free. And gadgets that are, let's say, $100 or less. But these are all things that will make your studio more efficient, just increase productivity. And they're little things that we don't necessarily endorse or say, this is something you need to get. These are like those little nuggets that you hear about when you come to a training like this. So I'm making a class specifically for nuggets. Okay. They'll just be like short little things, little tidbits of advice, or little apps, little things that just help your business become more efficient and more productive. So that's going to be a class that we'll do. It'll be a shorter one, maybe an hour or two. And then the afternoon will be Larry Jordan, correct?
Yes,
Saturday.
the afternoon. And so let me talk about that just for a minute. So yeah, Larry Jordan is our keynote speaker trainer, and I think that'll start either at 1 or 1:30 on Friday afternoon and or Saturday afternoon. So he'll go at least 4 hours, and Larry is so connected into what's happening with Adobe and what's happening with Apple and Apple AI now. I'm going to have him just
Apple Intelligence.
Apple Intelligence,
Yeah,
yes.
get it right.
Well, Apple AI, right? Apple AI, Apple Intelligence.
Apple Intelligence.
I need Apple AI to help me.
If you go through the WWDC keynote, it's hilarious to see how many times they avoid the term AI.
Okay, so yeah, Larry Jordan's going to be there. I'm very excited about that on Saturday afternoon. So a couple other things going on, Chad, and feel free to jump in here if you need to. So Frank Romer will be training all 4 days. And so this is the conundrum that some of you will have, which class to take. And, sometimes I even think, well, why bring Frank Romer in from, I call him our Hollywood connection from Orange County, California. And it's possible that he'll only have a couple people in his class on some days. Well, the reason is because the foundations of video and Premiere Pro and Photoshop is just so important. So right now, what I'm thinking, well, I'll have the schedule out sometime Thursday. I think I'll be done with it. We've really wrapped up most of it, but I'm planning on having Frank Romer do Photoshop on Wednesday right now, unless I get a better suggestion, because I think there may be, studio owners in year 2, 3, or 4, or even beyond that want a refresher on Photoshop and may not be doing Backlot. Okay. You may not need to know how to set up your camera and things like that. So my plan right now is Wednesday is Frank is doing Photoshop. And then the next 3 days, he is doing Premiere Pro. At least 2 solid days, maybe 2.5. And then the other part of that, he'll be taking brand new owners or for anybody who wants it. And this is another good class of Frank's it's a good repeat. Video foundations, sometimes we call it video 101, but all of the core fundamentals that you need to know about resolutions and bit rates and all that kind of stuff. And so Frank will be doing that. So you can mix and match, and you may think, wow, I'd love to be in Backlot. I'd like to do that video walk. I'd like to make a studio promo for my studio, and yet I need to take that 2-day Premiere Pro class. And if you do, then you take it and I guess you're editing at night in your suite. But that sounds great, doesn't it? Chad, do you remember, we call it Backlot now, and we've done that for, I think, 6, 7 years, but you went to one of the original Backlot classes. It was just one day, but we did the whole thing. We shot at that factory here in Indianapolis. Do you
Oh yeah.
recall?
Yeah.
Yeah, you and some others, and then you put together a video. It wasn't as sophisticated as it is now, but that was a lot of fun. All right, one thing I want to say before I forget this is tux rental for those of you that want to rent tuxes. We'll be sending out that information probably tomorrow morning, maybe tonight. So much to do today. And then Chad, can you put together the Backlot rules and specifications? I don't think it's
Yeah.
going to be that much, but we'll get it out
Yeah, for sure.
to studio owners. And so that's what Larry Jordan is doing on, let's see, Saturday. The catamaran boat trip is on Friday night, and so that should be really fun. And then the Hanley Awards are on Saturday night. And then Chad, I want to have you recreate. Remember the photos we did with all the Hanley trophies on the
Yeah.
stairway? So if they'll let us do that again, I want to do something
Yeah.
there. So we have a lot going on at this getaway. I wonder if we have any questions from any of our studio owners.
So you said we could bring B-roll if we do Backlot. If we have a client testimonial, can we bring that? Or do we
Yeah.
have to do the testimonial there?
I don't think you would have to if you already have one. Yeah.
Okay.
You can bring one. You could bring one with you. I do want you to, Cheryl, to do some shooting in this room that we're going to do. So I haven't decided whether I'm going to require you to do that or not, but I will allow you to bring one for sure. But yeah, we're going to, we'll have like a training room kind of dedicated for the interview part, where we'll have lights set up, and probably not the same room, but maybe the same room. It depends, where we'll do voiceover work too. But we'll have a nice lighting setup there, and a nice like audio rig, to do voiceover work. So you'll be able to do that. So I would still probably want you to come in there and do some shooting in there with your own camera, so that
yeah,
you're just,
yeah, that's fine.
Yep. But no, that's highly encouraged, for you. I remember we did this years ago, like, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years ago. It has to be more than that. It was 2009. I can tell you that because I can base it on what studio location I was at, where I did this. And I remember just bringing a hard drive full of B-roll. I'd already shot a couple of interviews, that I brought with me, and, had the hard drive full of pictures of my studio, and, little stock, pictures of VHS tapes and, whatever. So yeah, feel free to bring all that stuff. That's, part of your own personal brand. That's great.
Okay.
I do hope many of you choose to do this because of the way we've set it up, where it allows you to kind of multitask and do other things. It will increase engagement on your website and on your own social media. So it will help your bottom line. You will learn some things that, will be practical for you moving on into the next year and several years ahead. And I hope that some veterans will do this. If you did one last year, you should do this again, because it's going to be different. Because I'm teaching it. I'm a different person, right? So it's going to be different. But you'll learn some things, and you'll be able to, benefit from this. And I think it's going to be great if we get veterans that are there that can also be, assisting people that are brand new at it. But you guys that have been in this business for 10 years or 5 years or 15 years will learn things just as much as those of you that have only been in for, under a year. So I'm hoping for a diverse group. In fact, I'm gonna call Tony and Lori Melendez right now.
Please do.
For fun. Yeah.
Well, it's like I don't think that studio owners really realize that when you do something like this, it seems all visual and storytelling, which it is, but it's you can increase your how much money you're making a week and how you speak to prospects on the phone using knowledge that you learned at this event. Just the fact that you were there and you participated and how you use that, that's huge. And that is really, really big. So.
And we'll have all the equipment that you need, but we certainly want to encourage you to use your own, cameras if you want to, or you're welcome to use ours too.
Right.
Yeah. Don't let the equipment, because it's daunting or I don't know how to do this or that, get in the way of you doing this, because, I'm a big proponent of trial by fire and, or baptism by fire. And I think you'll learn some things along the way. And yeah, don't let the tech be a barrier, or your lack of experience be a barrier for doing this.
Right. And so Getaway 24 is going to start on Wednesday, the 24th of July. It'll go through, let's see, this actually goes through Sunday, the 28th, which our big Hanley Awards is going to be on Saturday, the 27th. And so this year, Chad, I'm doing something that I've kind of like hinted at before, but we've never really promoted it that much. So we are inviting new prospects or serious prospects for home video studio, somebody who thinks, wow, this might be for me. We've always done show and tell Saturday or show and tell Sunday at this event, and we will do that this year. But we're inviting people, if they want to come down and check out home video studio, they can come Friday. They can audit classes. They can be there on Saturday and take classes, mix with our studio owners and, learn what they know, and come to the Hanley Awards, which we've done part of that before, but I guess I'm just making it more of a formal invitation. So if you are out there and you've been thinking about home video studio, this is a really good time to come down and meet studio owners from coast to coast and meet our trainers and have fun and find out maybe is this for you or not. So we're doing that, Chad. Chad, you've been in the business 20 years. Have you ever missed a getaway? I don't think you have you? As far as
I missed one. In 2016. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Just one in 2016.
Yeah, that was it.
I've never missed one. And the first like 5 or 6 getaways, it was just me. I won all the awards. All right. Chad, thanks for being on today. And thanks for being on. And we will see you in about 4.5, 5 weeks. So thank you. That's a wrap, guys.
Yeah.
And girls.
Really looking forward to it.
All right. Goodbye.
See you later. Looking forward to seeing you.
Make lots of money.
Bye.
Peace.
That was fantastic. All right. Now let's do the outtakes.